The first thing people say about the house is that it feels wrong before anything even happens. You don't hear voices. You don't see shadows. You just feel it. A pressure in your chest. A sense that you are being watched. And the overwhelming urge to leave. This is Scary Stories Files. The house sits at the end of a quiet street in a small American town, surrounded by trees that block most of the sunlight even during the day. From the outside, it looks ordinary. A two-story home, old but well-maintained, the kind of place you'd expect a family to live in for decades. But very few families ever stayed long. The house was built in the early 1900s, back when the town was still growing. Records show that over the years, an unusual number of people passed away inside its walls. Some from illness, some from accidents, and some under circumstances that were never fully explained. At first, no one thought much of it. Old houses have history. Death was more common back then. But as time went on, patterns began to emerge. Families moved in and left suddenly. Tenants broke leases without explanation. Visitors refused to spend the night, and nearly all of them described the same thing. They were not alone. One of the most documented cases occurred in the late 1980s, when a young couple moved into the house after finding it listed at a surprisingly low price. They were skeptical of the rumors and believed the stories were exaggerated. For the first few weeks, nothing happened. Then the sounds began. Footsteps on the second floor when no one was upstairs. Doors opening and closing on their own. Soft knocking on the walls late at night. At first, they blamed the age of the house. Old plumbing, settling wood, animals in the walls, but the sounds didn't behave like normal house noises. The footsteps would stop when they stopped listening. The knocking would respond when spoken to. And the doors only opened when someone was alone. The husband worked nights, leaving his wife alone in the house for hours at a time. That's when the activity escalated. She began hearing whispering from empty rooms. Her name spoken softly behind her, breathing that didn't belong to her. One night, she woke up unable to move, convinced someone was sitting on her chest. She described seeing a dark shape standing near the bedroom door, watching her. When she finally screamed, the figure vanished. The husband dismissed it as stress and sleep paralysis, until it started happening to him. He woke up with scratches on his arms, deep red marks that burned but didn't bleed. They appeared in sets of 3. Their dog refused to enter certain rooms and would growl at corners of empty space. Eventually, it stopped sleeping inside the house altogether. Then came the dreams. Both of them began having the same nightmare. A man standing at the top of the stairs, his face hidden in shadow, pointing down toward the basement. They never discussed it until one morning when they both described the exact same dream, word for word. That was when they decided to investigate the basement. The basement was unfinished, with stone walls and a dirt floor in some areas. It smelled damp and old, like something had been sealed away for a very long time. While down there, the husband noticed a section of wall that looked newer than the rest. The bricks were different. The mortar was cleaner. Behind that wall, they discovered a sealed crawl space. Inside were personal items, old clothing, children's shoes, and something far worse. Local records later revealed that in the 1920s, a previous owner had been suspected in the disappearance of several children. No bodies were ever found. No charges were filed. The case went cold. Shortly after the crawl space was discovered, the activity turned violent. Objects were thrown across rooms. Lights shattered. Furniture moved on its own. The husband was pushed down the stairs one night while no one else was home. The couple left the house immediately, abandoning most of their belongings. They were not the last. Over the next several decades, paranormal investigators, skeptics, and thrill seekers attempted to document what was happening inside the house. Many entered confident. Most left shaken. Audio recordings captured voices that didn't match anyone present. Photographs showed figures standing where no one had been. Video cameras malfunctioned, batteries draining instantly. Several investigators reported feeling sudden waves of anger, despair, or fear without reason. Some claimed the house tried to convince them to stay. Others said it wanted permission. One investigator described feeling a hand grab his ankle while standing alone in the basement. Another reported being shoved against a wall by an unseen force. More disturbing still were the psychological effects. Visitors experienced vivid thoughts that weren't their own, urges to harm themselves, sudden intrusive visions. Every single person reported that these feelings vanished the moment they left the property. The house was eventually condemned and boarded up. Even so, people still report seeing lights inside, hearing voices from empty rooms, and seeing figures in the upper windows at night. Neighbors avoid walking past it after dark. The town no longer advertises the address. The records are buried. The past is rarely discussed, but the house remains, waiting, because some places don't just hold memories, they hold intentions. If this story disturbed you, let us know what you believe is really happening inside that house. Like the video for more real, documented hauntings. Share it with someone who loves true horror. And subscribe to Scary Stories Files. Because some homes never become empty. They just find new occupants.